Welcome to the November 18th agenda meeting of South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonides, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Here.
Councilman Besh.
Here.
Councilman White.
Here.
Council President Wooler.
Here. Thank you. At this point, I would like to congratulate Councilwoman-elect Mott and Councilman-elect Peter Smith and invite them to join us up here at the dais. Amy, can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This evening, we have two matters on for executive session. One's a legal matter, and the other is a personnel matter. We have the approval of council minutes for October 21st, two proclamations. One is for National DECA Month, and the other is for Pancreatic Cancer Day. We have one ordinance on for a first reading by title. We have 25 resolutions on this evening. However, we have the addition of two more. The first one will be numbered 19-358, titled Amending Resolution 19-207 that confirms the appointment of Community Emergency Response Team, CERT membership, to add 3 more members. The other resolution will be numbered 19-359, authorizing 2019 appropriation transfers in the amount of $13,000 for the current fund. We then have 7 matters of correspondence this evening. Payment of bills totaling $1,374,250.67. Council reports, and we conclude with public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council comments on agenda items?
None.
Nothing, Mayor.
Okay. Can I get a motion to add resolutions 19-358 and 19-359?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Those will be added for tonight's agenda. We have a release of a performance bond. Ms. Antonides, everything's in place for JRB Properties LLC, public improvements to block 406, lot 15.
It is, Mr. Mayor.
Council comments on the release of the performance bond?
None, Mr. Mayor.
None.
Do we have anyone representing JRB Properties? Doing it without my glasses. 409, lot 409. You're on behalf of the of JRB?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, is there anything you'd like to address the governing bodies? No. Okay. At this point, we will open it up for public comments regarding the release of the performance bond as mentioned for JRB Properties LLC Public Improvements Block 409, Lot 15. Seeing none, close the public portion. That'll be on for tonight's agenda. You're more than welcome to stay. You would make history, though. Can I get a motion for Resolution 19-332? We have two items for executive session: legal, railroad Conrail, and personnel DPW.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Councilman Dean. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? At this point, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting.
So moved.
We are adjourned, seeing no reason to delay. We'll go right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonides, will you call the roll once more?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Here.
Councilman Besh.
Here.
Councilman White.
Here.
Council President Wallach.
Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Council President Wallach. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, bless this governing body, grant it the courage and wisdom to make fair and just decisions for our community. Amen.
Okay. At this point, once again, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. Can I get a motion for approval of the council minutes for October 21st, agenda and public?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Vess. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Yes.
Councilman Dean.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini.
Yes.
Councilman Besh.
Yes.
Councilman White.
Yes.
Council President Wallach.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have two proclamations for tonight, as it was mentioned. The first is World Pancreatic Cancer Day. And whereas in 2019, an estimated 55,400 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States, and 44,330 will die from the disease. Whereas pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest cancers, it is currently the third leading cause of cancer death in the United States and is projected to become the second leading cause around 2020. Whereas pancreatic cancer is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in the single digits at just 9%. And whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is generally in the later stages, and only 10% of pancreatic cancer patients are diagnosed when the disease is confined to their pancreas, and 91% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first 5 years. Whereas approximately 1,290 deaths will occur in New Jersey in 2019, and whereas pancreatic cancer is the 7th most common cause of cancer-related deaths across the world. Whereas there will be an estimated 480,000 new pancreatic cancer cases diagnosed worldwide in 2020, and whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of South Plainfield are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about the symptoms and risks of pancreatic cancer and research into early detection, causes, and effective treatments. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Pianesh, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim that November 21st, 2019 will be World Pancreatic Cancer Day in the Borough of South Plainfield. And we do have the Price family here to accept, so I ask that you guys join me up in the dais.
No, just everyone should wear purple on Thursday, which is the World Pancreatic Cancer Day, to let everyone know it's that day. So, thanks so much. Thanks again. Thank you.
Second proclamation is for National DECA Month, November 2019. Whereas November has been designated as Distributive Education Club of America, or DECA Month, and whereas the mission of DECA is to prepare emerging leaders and entrepreneurs in marketing, finance, hospitality, management, and whereas DECA enhances the co-curricular education of members through through a comprehensive learning program that integrates into classroom instruction, applies learning, connects to business, and promotes competition. And whereas DECA's activities assist in the development of academically prepared, community-oriented, professionally responsible, experienced leaders. And whereas DECA's attributes and values describe the organization's priorities and standards, including competence, innovation, integrity, and teamwork. And whereas DECA is committed to the advocacy of developing and expanding business and education partnerships. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nash, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim November 2019 as DECA Month in the Borough of South Plainfield and call upon everyone to encourage and support our future leaders and entrepreneurs with their education. So I know, in case you guys have been wondering, there's plenty of high school DECA members in the audience today, along with their faculty advisors. And I invite all of you, I think this isn't a mistake, but I invite all of you up. You can take our seats here. We will follow behind, and we'll try and get you a nice photo.
Yeah, you have to sit next to us too.
You're the mayor now.
Wait, I feel like everybody lean in.
Nice calling us down to our office. Colin, switch your Keisha. Switch your Keisha.
Yeah, Keisha needs to sit. Keisha, basically, it's like a little thing.
Well, you're not even wearing the tie.
One of the industrials is like,
Is it on?
yeah, there we go.
Did you actually go to class?
Yeah, I did. I went to that.
Some of you guys could filter in along the
Anybody listen? Anyone like want to actually
They're Rajin. They're Rajin.
that short kid right
They're
there.
literally off.
There's not in front of me.
G4 going about him.
Why the tallest boys going up front? Please don't stand in the middle. Please don't stand in the middle. You literally can't stand in the middle.
You guys come back up here. You guys come back up.
We're such an organized organization.
Say future CEO.
Wait, is this the picture?
Stole his joke.
Join us now or work for us later.
All right. Now, whoever's in front of a microphone, if anybody would like to address the folks here today, the governing body, and those who will be watching on TV later, now their opportunity.
Okay, it's on.
Let Rajan do it. Let Rajan.
Tell us something about DECA, what you guys are looking to do.
Hello, my name is Jordan Lovett. I am the president of DECA. And we just DECA is basically preparing students how to be adults in the future, how to talk to future employers, how to communicate, how to present your ideas properly, and how to be a professional. So that's what DECA does. And if you guys aren't busy on Wednesday, November 20th, we're having a fundraiser at Angelina's right on the corner. It's all day, and 10% of the proceeds go to our chapter for our state competition. So if you want to stop by, bring your friends, bring your family. That'd be great. Thank you.
I second.
Anybody else?
No. We're good. Next plug.
Why not? I just got a little bit of homework. Thank you. You're right, I'm not gonna be there. I'm not gonna be there.
C-Suite.
Leonard?
Do you want to be a fireman?
That's a good. I think there's that.
Inside joke.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So, DECA members, are you staying for the entire meeting, or are you leaving? Okay. If you want, we can call a 5-minute recess, and then we'll rejoin. Susan. Thank you, guys. Nice second. Okay.
I'll give you a holler. Okay, I'll get you that picture.
Yeah, tomorrow probably. Depending on how work goes, but in the afternoon.
Just go through some paperwork, clean it up at my house. And when you make the presentation to Brianna's Foundation to buy the van, I found the picture, so I told her I have it.
Okay.
It's the dead end. If you're on Maple on the right hand side.
Just FYI.
He's only, I think since we've been on.
When the green light's on, it's recording. When it's off, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm only saying it like once. Just catch me.
What's up, Peter? How are you?
Yeah, I've done work for him. Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Where were we? All right, we have an ordinance for introduction. Mr. Cullen, you wanted to make a statement?
Yeah, Mayor, before we introduce this ordinance for its supplemental ordinance to the pool bond ordinance that was done earlier this year, I think it was ordinance number 2146. And, you know, I know a lot of people have asked questions, so I'll give everybody a little bit of an update on the pool, I figured. originally we had done ordinance 2132 for the pool design for $175,000. Then we awarded a contract to Branstad and Carroll to do the design for a $173,500. So essentially, the pool design ordinance itself was for the amount of the design. Then the voters, I guess, approved that we had advertised that we would do pool renovations. It would be $2.475 million. Of that $2.475 million, we awarded a contract to admit Atlantic Construction for $2,238,000, which included one rock climbing wall. The pool property, we've been unable to find any survey. There was never, if there was a survey done, the survey wasn't on hand with the borough. So that large piece of property turned out being a survey of $12,500. We've had to have testing of both the walls, the floor, and the soils in the ground in that area, which is approximately another $10,000. We've started work on some of the work on the pool house, which is approximately another $18,000. So what has really necessitated this ordinance from today? One of the things that has come up when we remove the walls, it turns out some of the core drillings that were done originally on the pool walls, the walls were supposed to be, I guess, approximately 16 inches thick. And in most of the areas, we're finding it to be about 16 inches thick. But one of the things that we didn't, hit when we did these core drillings is encased within the wall itself. It turns out there is some type of return pipe for the pump house. So in the areas where this pipe is, the wall itself is, depending upon the width, sometimes it's only 4 inches, sometimes it's 3 inches, sometimes it's 7 inches, sometimes it's just through time. The back of the pipe is showing. So unfortunately, we originally anticipated being able to somewhat use the existing walls and tie rebar into it and everything else. Now, what's going to happen is the entire perimeter of the pool is pretty much going to have to get new walls poured. We're expecting that to be in excess of $100,000. The other unforeseen item that we had was the pool floor. We were removing 2/3 of the floor, 1/3 was going to remain. And I think when we had done the presentations at that time, the pool floor, we had found out in a couple areas was about 3 inches thick. And at that time, the pool design engineer thought that we would be able to use that 1/3 of the existing floor. And I think the term, Councilman Dean probably knows it better than me. In a number of these areas, we're finding, I guess, most of the floor was marcite instead of actually concrete. And we're being recommended to just pour a whole new floor. That's going to be about a $50,000 change order. When you add all those items up, including some of the backfill items, the pool ordinance that was adopted is almost exhausted, very close to being exhausted. So tonight's supplemental ordinance, what does that do? Well, one, it would include the slide. Originally we saw this, beautiful slide. It was listed as a deletion item. Bids came in a little higher than what we had wanted. It's going to include the slide. There are some other things we still need to do. We still need to do the registration stand, put that up, the electric, some fencing. So there is still some things like that. In addition to, as of right now, I guess one of the questions a lot of people have is, what's the status of the pool? Well, the pool itself, most of the demo's been done. We have found some issues. We have found trees that seem to have been buried like 60 years ago. But all in all, we're actually currently still on schedule for an opening of May 15th of 2020. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know, what type of winter we're going to have. Most of the things I've been told is not a good one, but as of right now, everything is actually on schedule. But in order to be able to do the things that we have, the issues with the wall and the floor have really necessitated this, because when we had met with the pool design, Bransitter and Carroll, essentially, they felt that $150,000 of a project this size, of approximately $2.5 million, they thought would be adequate. And in one swoop, it's being removed by the floor and the walls.
Yep.
So, that's what I have. Every 2 weeks, Councilwoman Faustini, Councilman Benjavanga, Councilman Dean, myself, Len Miller, you know, the Mid-Atlantic, and a number of us meet, and, you know, we go through, you know, all the status that we've had. And the project itself is really, over the last 2 weeks, has really gone at a very fast pace. But there are certainly some events that took place that we did not anticipate, and that's why you have this ordinance here tonight.
Yeah.
Any questions anybody has?
And when he brought up there was a tree buried, it was underneath a slab of concrete, so you wouldn't have been able to see from the ground. And the thing was like, you know, huge, just sitting on top of the dirt when we all got there to look at it. You're like, you know, there was tires, signs, all kinds of stuff that were found over there. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's things you wouldn't find out until you start digging anyway, so.
Well, I think the important part is initially what we had budgeted as an overage was thought to be reasonable, right? As you said, for a project of that size, so. I
Right.
mean, I don't think you can expect to find the differences that you're finding in the walls and, you know, some of the other things that are over there, so, you know, unfortunately, it's a curveball that I don't think anybody would have seen coming or would have been prudent to, at that point, even, you know, up the reserve, you know, out of pure speculation.
No, it's all unforeseen things, and I know that they had talked about, you know, possibly some other ways of doing some things that maybe, you know, could change things, but the problem with that is there would be pretty much a large delay in the project, because it would have to go back to, they would have to design it, so it would have to go back to engineering, then it would have to go back out and try to figure out exactly if it's gonna work, and then, you know, then start to actually implement those things, and they were, you know, saying that could delay the whole, because they at this point, they can't go any further with the project. So that could delay the project, they said, at least a month. So, you know, after, I guess they were kicking it around, I mean, this was pretty much the best way, was to, you know, cut the walls out, and then, you know, rebar it, and, you know, pour, you know, solid walls all the way back up to what needs to be done.
Okay.
Without a delay, other than, you know, the money end.
But you're saying the alternatives even, that's not even guaranteed that they would be able to do those alternatives, they would still have the
No.
proof of concept, right?
Correct.
All right. Any other questions for Glenn? All right, at this point, we'll ask for Amy for introduction of ordinance 2158.
Bond ordinance providing for a supplemental appropriation of $315,000 for renovations to the community pool in and by the Borough of South Plainfield in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $300,000 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for introduction on ordinance 2158?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Woolley?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We'll have a public hearing and for final adoption of ordinance 2158 will be set for December 2nd, 2019 at approximately 7 p.m. Resolutions 19-333 to 19-359, including the two that were added tonight. Can I get a motion for introduction, motion for approval?
Second.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilman White. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Woolley?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have 7 items of correspondence today. The Recycling Monthly Report of September 2019, Environmental Monthly Report for September and October, Planning Board Minutes to July 23rd and October 8th, Zoning Board Minutes May 21st, June 4th, June 18th, July 2nd, and July 16th, the Property Maintenance Monthly Report for October, Environmental Commission Minutes for September 11th, 2019, and the Recreation Commission Minutes for September 17th. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for payment of the bills on $1,374,250.67?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council President Wolak, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Ms. Antonides, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Council President Willock?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, anything for us today?
I do, Mayor. An issue was raised by a citizen concerning a concern he had with a dead or damaged tree on his neighbor's property and how it could be addressed. And John Aprazizi, our property maintenance officer, didn't feel there was any provision in our code or the property maintenance code that was sufficient for him to address it. I then drafted an ordinance to amend our code, mostly taking it from some other municipal codes that I found, circulated it to Mr. Aprazizi, Dr. Temple, who shared it with the Environmental Commission, and in short, I got some very conflicting replies from everyone. So I think it would be best if we had a committee of the council to evaluate it. I'm not sure which committee, if you have a standing committee or who may, I could give a summary and maybe we could start working towards
Any thoughts?
a resolution of this.
Administrative Finance Committee, just to make it as simple?
I think it's environmental, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Environmental.
It's kind of weird because it's code enforcement, property maintenance, and
Code enforcement and property maintenance comes under construction and economic development, so I would think that, because the code enforcement officer ultimately reports to
Yeah.
to the liaison, so.
well, you want to get a committee. Well, there's probably overlap on that committee anyway.
Yeah, I believe there's overlap.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, so I guess economic development.
Economic development, all right, I'll
You good?
send a summary, the draft ordinance and.
All right, I'll make sure, I'll give you the names who to send it to.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cullen.
Yes, Mayor. Today myself and Mr. Miller met with Public Service, and I spoke to Councilman Besh last week on the topic. Public Service is looking to do a main replacement starting at Geary Drive and going all the way to Pemberton in Plainfield. The issue is, you have something called the middle school and the high school, right in the area that they're looking to work. So really what they want to do from Geary to now O'Donoghue, they want to do the work. And for a number of reasons. One, obviously, is they believe with doing it during the day, you have school in the morning, you have school in the afternoon, you have the rush hour at night.
Mhm.
They're saying all those things are really going to delay the time frame of this project. So they're really asking to be able to do this main replacement at night for those areas. And if there isn't any disturbance, too bad, I guess, to the residents. They want to then, they'll then consider even doing from O'Donoghue to Pemberton and Plainfield at night as well. But Len saw the plan, traffic safety saw the plan, and I think Gary's guys were there. I didn't say that, Councilman Besh's guys were there, and we really think it's probably the right way of handling it.
I know we had some issues. Didn't we do some nighttime work off of the streets off
We
of
did it on
Maple?
Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that on Wakefield. And the other thing here is obviously you have a situation where, it's not daylight that long, so if you were to leave this in daylight hours, something which may take 2.5 to 3 weeks, take 6 to 7, so.
Yeah.
They want to start this Wednesday. I told them that I would give them a call tomorrow, but I didn't think that it would be a problem. But
Anyone have any concerns? I mean, I think it beats the alternative of
Yeah.
gridlock during the morning.
Are you gonna notify the residents
Yeah.
at least, you know?
Well, they'd already started notifying the residents. It's one of these things, chicken and the egg. I didn't want to start sending notifications out until I had an opportunity to talk to everybody tonight.
Okay.
I know there's a number of people on the council here that was unaware of this, including the mayor, by the way, until I just mentioned it. So yeah, we'll send out notifications. Public Service said that they will notify everyone. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, for the people on Plainfield Avenue, that, you know, they may hear some of the noise, but the alternative with, really, you could even include, you know, Grant School. I mean, everybody uses that corridor. And it's like having 3 rush hours there. I mean, the morning rush for a school is similar to the regular rush, but then you have one at, like I said, anywhere between, you know, 2:30 and 3, and then you have another one, you know, starting at 5, so, or 4:30. So I just want to make sure that no one on the council has an issue with that.
As long as everything's all right.
Yeah, and then, we're scheduled to get back to them as well. I think we mentioned at one of the earlier meetings regarding, they plan on doing, some main replacement in and around, really both sides of Plainfield Avenue. So, you know, some in the area going from Plainfield to Rawway to, you know, to the high school and back to Cedar Brook, and then there's gonna be some, you know, on the other side from Franklin School to the Plainfield border with roads like Tompkins and Oconee and everything else to Clinton Avenue. They originally had some designs on how they were gonna do it. I think Mr. Miller gave them some comments. And will eventually be coming back with, similar to how we've had these other projects, their map. We just haven't been able to finalize that. We thought we would maybe have that at this meeting, or expect that at one of the meetings in December. But they're really looking to do a project probably larger than what Middlesex Water's project was a couple years ago, a year ago. So,
What was the timeline?
well, the timeline for that is, I think they're looking to.
Thursday.
No, they're looking to get started as soon as we get approval. I mean, one of the things that is an issue is some of the roads that they're looking to do are some of the roads near the schools.
Mhm.
And, I think they're gonna try to plan them on the spring break, is what they've said. But, you know, we haven't finalized it. Some of the work they're doing inside the curb, but most of it, you know, maybe in the street. And, there's some design issues that, we've had some issues with, but it's pretty significant. It's, like I said, it's almost from, it's in pockets, but it's pretty much from Franklin Avenue to the Plainfield border, and then there's a pocket off of Tubes and Wenton.
And all of it's at night?
I'm sorry?
No.
Just the,
Just
Just
Plainfield Avenue.
Plainfield Avenue.
okay.
Oh, yeah, no, just
Just
Plainfield
Plainfield
Avenue. Yeah, nothing else will take place at night. There is a chance that they said to us today, because I know this is gonna come up, that when they finally do the tie-ins to the individual, I guess, homes, that may take place during the day, because they need the residents to
Mhm.
be, you know, home and aware, and they can't be really doing that at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So, at the tail end of the main replacement, there may be some service line connections, but they're saying that won't be near the traffic problem that main replacement would be. So, they're saying at night, they won't close Plainfield Avenue. They're hoping to have 2-way traffic. When they get out there, there's an outside chance it could be alternating traffic, but they'll be done way before rush hour starts.
Okay.
And, I already spoke about the pool. And with that progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The road jobs are wrapped up for the winter here essentially, except for coming back to do some minor restoration work. And we've had some resolutions on tonight to help us through the winter season. I'm not going to use the S word. And with that, I think we're going to be on track to be prepared for the winter season with that progress.
Sounds excellent. Ms. Antonides.
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Vess.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. With this meeting being the last meeting before Thanksgiving, I would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and to remember not to dwell on the negatives and just concentrate on the positive things in your life and enjoy your family. And with that, progress.
Thank you. Councilwoman Faustini.
On recreation, soccer and field hockey has concluded and basketball has begun, both recreational and travel. And wrestling as well. There still are spots left for basketball and for wrestling, so if you want to sign up. I know they even still need a few basketball coaches. And I want to invite everyone on December 7th to our caroling event over here at Monument Park. It'll be from 3:30 to 5:30, and there'll be some special guests and some cocoa and cookies. And happy Thanksgiving to all, and with that, progress.
Thank you. Councilman Benjavanga.
Just a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Wishing you and your families a safe, warm, and happy Thanksgiving. With that, progress.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and also I'd like to extend my congratulations again to Pete Smith and Melanie Mott on their election, and I think everything will go smoothly for everyone, and again, I enjoyed the time on the council and working with everyone, and that's about it, so progress.
Thank you. Councilman White.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things. BBT opened up on Belmont Avenue and the former Kenny's Empanada location. They have the bubble tea and food items. It's very good food, very good items. Also, an update on Chick-fil-A. They will be breaking ground soon. We're currently trying to work with the upper executives on a groundbreaking ceremony or of some sort. And then lastly, I'm sure it's probably of no surprise to many of you, but finally I can make an announcement about Acme. So Aldi's will be taking a portion of the space. It will be subdivided, and LA Fitness will be taking the other portion of the space. So all the leases are signed, so they told me that I could make it public, even though it was probably public anyway. But at least it didn't come from me. And with that, I think progress, other than everyone have a happy, safe Thanksgiving, you and your families, and make sure you share with them what you're thankful for and how thankful you are that they're here with you still. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman-elect Smith, would you like to say anything?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Perfect. Councilwoman-elect Mott.
Thank you. Looking forward to being here.
Yeah, same here. So thank you to the South Plainfield residents. I wish John Dean the best of luck in all of his future endeavors. Sorry, Councilman Dean.
That's all right.
Councilman Vesh, the same with you. I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors as well.
Thank you.
And we look forward to serving you. Take care.
Thank you. And last but never least, Council President Woollach.
Thank you. Not to be repetitive, but I do want to congratulate you both, Pete Smith and Melanie Mott. The Apple team has victory. I look forward to working with you guys, and I'd like to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. And with that, progress.
The Apple team. Yes.
I would like to congratulate the chief. A daughter of his going to Georgetown. I don't know if everybody saw that article today.
Yes, sure.
But I just want to congratulate the Parkers on Julia signing with become Georgetown lawyer.
Very nice. Congratulations. So if you want to get an early start on caroling, on the 7th, we'll be doing a breakfast with the mayor at the senior center. Now, I warn you, it's geared towards a little bit older crowd, but anybody is welcome to attend. So that'll be at 9 o'clock till about 10:30 or so. Light breakfast and refreshments, so come on down and join us. At this point, we'll open it up for anything on your mind. Yes. Suzanne.
Suzanne Lee, Poor Bullard Place. I do have a question about the work being done on Plainfield. Is there any way that the county can get money back for having just paved the road and now it's gonna get torn up again? Like, that just doesn't seem to make sense.
Public
know.
service is going to mill and pave whatever they disturb.
Yeah, but all the money that, and the tax dollars that were used for the initial paving are lost.
Well, I mean, you could say they're lost, but they're gonna be required to, so if that road is, a year old, let's say, they're gonna be required to repave it.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just, like, we could have waited on the paving of Plainfield Avenue until they were done with their work, like,
But
it's just
except that they
Right.
did not tell us they were doing
I
the
know,
work.
it just
So
seems
you
like
can't
there needs
wait.
to be better communication between the county, the town, and the utilities, so that
There-
it's done on a better
There's-
basis. 'Cause
there
it's
was plenty of communication
There's always
on there, but,
communication.
yeah.
Okay.
It's constant communication.
Look,
If
I would
there's-
agree with you if we were gonna get stuck or the county was gonna get stuck with a bill, but
Right, I know,
PSE&G is gonna take that
they're
bill.
gonna pay for it, but
Yeah.
it seems like was a waste of,
But if there's
of
an
our
issue,
money,
if
it's-
there's an issue with their line, it's
Right.
their line, they
Right.
have to go in and fix it.
oh, right.
So,
But if
it
they're
was unforeseen, I'm assuming.
replacing the whole thing, so it's not just one little,
And some of
issue.
what Councilman Vesh is saying, we had a situation this year where Len and myself had met with public service, and they were going over the roads that we were doing, and one of the things we said is, listen, we're about to do South 9. You don't have anything going on in South 9? And they said, no. So we flat out in the meeting, they told us no. Then all of a sudden, like a week before the contractor's in there, we get this call, they're looking it over, they've decided they wanna get in there, we wanna get in there next week. And we ended up having like 2 to 3 weeks worth of, don't park here, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden now public service had to go through.
right.
In a perfect world, I mean, we get what you're saying, but in practicality, you can only try so, you can try. And you
Right.
do your best to make sure that, but again, they're a large public entity with a lot of fluid parts and covering a lot of municipalities and areas in the state. And, yeah, they're gonna change, they're gonna have emergencies, and look, that's why
Right, and
that's why the
and
county
I
had
can
put.
understand emergencies,
Yeah.
but like if something like this sounds like it's planned,
Well, one of the things
Yeah,
that you have to, everybody needs to also understand is the public service, the water company, all that, report to the BPU, right? So they apply to the BPU for funding for these projects. And so this project was submitted for 2019, 2020. So if we paved it, if the county paved it in 2017, they're not even approved to move ahead with that project until now. So for example, the project that we did up on, like Fairmont Avenue, we had paved the year before. Well, the gas company didn't get approval for that until the 2018 project, or 2017, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of times, it might think that, hey, why aren't they telling us they're gonna do it? But their application might not have been approved until about a year ago. So that's the biggest thing,
I
is
just,
'cause
I don't know,
their
it just
funding all
seems
comes
to
from
me
that.
like calendars should have been aligned, maybe could have been aligned a little bit better, just to,
Yeah.
you know.
In
We
a
always
perfect
try.
world, in
Yeah.
a perfect world, yes. But again, I don't think you want to be making, decisions at the county level where we're not paving a road because potentially PSE&G or somebody might do something, then
Plus-
they don't do it, and then you have a road that people are saying, well, why haven't you paved this road?
Plus the
So
road
you
needs
look
to
at it
be
the other
fixed.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So,
But it'll be back to normal.
Yeah, okay. All right, so now, on behalf of the Cultural Arts Commission, I would like to invite everyone after caroling on December 7th, because everything has to fall on the same
It's going
day.
to be a very busy December 7th.
Yes, it's going to be a very busy day. We are hosting another mystery dinner at the Senior Center. It's Dickens of a Murder, and so it's a free event for everyone in town to attend. There will be an Eventbrite application for you to apply for your seats, or, to request your seats. So I would request that everybody do it quickly before it sells out, because we are limited to the number of seats available at the event. And it's bring your own food while you're being entertained by the cast of characters. So, and that'll start at 7 p.m. on the 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take additional questions, I think I guess I know some of us were at the Cappy Award, so just a congratulations to Georgianne Cochran for being this year's recipient. Anybody else? Yes, Ms. Toyan.
Sandy Doane, Elizabethtown Court. First of all, I want to congratulate Melanie and Pete. I think you'll do a great job, and we're really happy to have you up here. And I just wanted to ask, do you have any idea when our American flags are going to be lit at Monument Park?
I know you were looking into that.
I'm waiting to get prices back from contractor. He has looked at it, he's preparing it. He sent over a preliminary estimate, and he has to make some revisions to it, so.
Because I know Veterans Day was wonderful, and there were so many programs, and then coming down the street on Veterans Night and seeing those flags in the dark just seems so disrespectful. I just don't know, should they be taken down at night, or is there any way we can light them? It just seems disrespectful to veterans to keep our American flags in the dark at night at a beautiful park like that, so.
Do we have any way they would hook up some kind of temporary?
Maybe we could do
at least
solar
light?
in the meantime?
Somebody with flashlight.
Yeah.
Solar's
Or
not good.
no.
The height is
Volunteer.
too much, but
All right, I'll do it with you, okay.
Yeah.
Got two.
And they don't,
All right, thank you, I just wanted to.
yeah, we can look and see something.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Jeff?
Jeff Sider, 208 O'Donoghue Avenue. Congratulations to Pete and Melanie. Question on the pool. Councilman Benjamin, did I hear you right? Ground radar was done?
I
Was
didn't
ground-
say anything.
No, I don't know if you said, was ground radar done in that area?
Ground radar?
Yeah.
The only thing I said that was there was a stump.
No, I thought.
No,
you had said-
that's all
Okay.
I said.
Then I misunderstood. This was done under a Democracy Day vote, non-binding.
Correct.
Does it have to go out for a Democracy Day vote to continue to bond for money?
No, if we were bonding it over an additional million, I mean, I don't know if there's, again, I don't know if there's any official rules on that. That's been something that's been followed in the past on any non-emergency or police type first aid, fire department project, public safety, over $1 million. This additional is not over $1 million. If you want to look at it and go out to Democracy Day, I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's that wouldn't make any sense in my view. I don't know if there's anybody on here that thinks that would be a prudent thing to do. So
Okay,
no.
That's, all right. My next question is to separate some fact and fiction from some of the rumors. Did an expert tell this governing body, the expert that you had for this pool, that put the package together for, what type of financing you would need?
Mhm.
Were you guys advised to go out for more than you actually went out for?
Yeah, is that
I wouldn't say we were advised to go out for more. I mean, I think what had happened was, he thought the bids were gonna come in less than they were.
With a 20%
they build
contingency.
in a contingency.
He did build in a
20%.
contingency. Whether or not he would have liked more money, I mean, at the time, we didn't think it was necessary. He thought there was enough of a contingency. I mean, that's a kind of a hard question, because he never really gave us a solid, it's gotta be, 2.2, 2.3. Originally, some of the construction numbers were like $1.8 million, and then all of a sudden, they ended up going north, so,
I thought his original, like, guesstimate, or whatever you wanna call it, was like 2,795 per se. But I know, we settled on 249, whatever, 9395. And then I know you said that, unfortunately, when the bids did go out and they came back, they came in, I think, what'd you say, 10% higher than
correct.
what they originally anticipated, which obviously then that 10% higher cut down on the 20% contingency, leaving us with only 10% money left You know, and I did say, you know, a couple times that unfortunately, you know, going into a large project like this, you're bound to run into an incident like we just ran into where, you know, this unforeseen issues. But, you know, just because the bids came in 10% higher and only leaving us with that 10% money left, we didn't have, you know, particularly enough money to cover a lot of the other incidentals that, you know, that could happen.
Well, I guess what I'm having a hard time comprehending here is that you had various experts in this field. Again, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are guys that did projects in Morristown, right? Wasn't that part of the pool meetings? These are guys that are supposed to know the market at the time that they're giving the advice.
Correct.
So how could they be so far off that going into the bidding process to already be eating into your 20% contingency?
Well, there's two factors, and I think we've seen this on road bids too this year, where we usually factor in a 20% contingency on road bids, and even engineer estimates are higher than we want, and the bids came back even higher than those 20% contingencies. It's a factor of a great economy. There's a lot less work out there. The contractors are really busy, so they're just throwing numbers out there a lot of times, and you know, so sometimes a great economy, you know, it does damper the price. But Charlie did come and say, listen, I feel very comfortable with this number going out.
The other thing too is there were a few things that we cut out that we did feel were luxuries.
Correct.
Which would have had us at the 2.7 number. And for example, one of the things that was discussed was to have lights inside the pool itself. So when we were looking at lights inside the pool itself, those things got you up to like the 2.7 number. And I think everybody just said, you know, for that additional cost, because I don't even think the lights were a deletion item. We had some lights, exterior, solars,
Yeah.
that are in the project, and we had extras that were in as a deletion item in the perfect world. But originally, there were some things that, when we finally got the numbers, we just said, you know, for that additional amount, they were cut out. Now, I'm not talking about the slide, I'm talking about a few other things. So, you know, that's why if anything ever floated that was a higher number, there was a few things like that when we finally saw the number. So we're just not gonna be able to afford that.
And as far as the pool lines being inside the walls that you discovered, I've never been a member of the pool, but I'm sure I heard it at one of the meetings, either from somebody that got up and spoke about it, or maybe it was during one of the refurbishments of the pool, but it was known that those lines were in the wall.
Well, here's the thing, you're talking about the drains underneath. The lines in the wall weren't shown because they were behind the liner. And so you wouldn't have seen that unless we took the liner off, but I don't even think those return lines even worked anymore.
No, because during one of the last refurbishments, those lines were pulled out of the wall.
No, that's a different line we're talking about. These lines that are in the wall, they're actually in the concrete wall, what they found. These lines were very old. I don't know. When we did the refurbishment where the returns came over the top of the pool several years ago,
Right.
that's a whole different line.
But again, you would, even if you knew that there were lines in there, you wouldn't think that the concrete wall was only 3 or 4 or 5 inches thick at that point. You still,
You're right, Mayor.
Right,
and-
pools are still built that way
my-
with
my-
return.
My point is, though, is that knowing the history of what's been done over 50 years with that pool by various council people and the Recreation Commission, there's been ongoing problems since day one when that pool was put in.
I don't
Or-
disagree, but I don't think any
or
rational
Sam-
person
or-
would think that the walls and the you know, the floor was gonna be, you know, in that bad of a shape or for whatever reason, that thin. I don't think anybody could jump to that conclusion and therefore
Well,
guesstimate and add an additional
Then why wasn't radar
150,000.
done? Why wasn't the
Well,
ground radar done?
we did core drillings.
Yes, we did cores out there, but I mean, there are sections that are bad. I mean, they did cores, and the sections that they took the cores in, they didn't hit this pipe that was in there, and the thickness of the walls in those sections was sufficient. The problem is that, you know, the whole pool's not uniform, and unless you took a core every, 5 feet, you're not gonna hit all these
Or
bad
radar, ground radar.
I don't know how the radar works in terms of this, because that was not something that was offered by the geotech.
Well, I guess the bottom line question now is at this point, what is the pool ultimately gonna cost? What is it going to include? What's gonna be inclusive now? I know at one of the meetings, some things you guys had to determine, some things had to be cut out, or, what was the public told they were going to get for the money? Are we still gonna meet that goal? Or are things gonna be cut out? But, I believe I stood up here at one of the first meetings and said, although I'm not a supporter of the pool being refurbished, if we're going to do it, if the voters are going to approve it, let's do it right and get it done, no more Band-Aids. So I'm asking the council now, what's it going to take to get it right? No cut corners, giving the people what they want, okay? What's it gonna cost?
Well, as far as the cost goes, I mean, Glenn would have that. I don't think there's any corners being cut now. We're also at.
You don't think, or you're sure?
Well, we're done with the demolition part of it, so there should be no more hidden aspects because we've already cut the wall down. We already know that the floor is getting completely replaced. We know the soil's bad behind the walls of the pool because of the tree stumps and roots and everything else that was just obviously backfilled behind the pool.
Traffic signs.
Yeah, traffic signs.
We've had a whole bunch of
So
crazy
all
stuff.
that dirt now has been moved into the back corner of the property and bermed off. They're gonna have to amend the soil, whether they're bringing in some kind of stone or suitable backfill for behind the pool walls. So at this point now, we're just rebuilding the project, but you're gonna, ultimately, 99% of that pool is gonna be brand new. And then the kiddie pool obviously is gonna be 100% brand new with all new plumbing and everything else that goes.
And let me just ask that question. At this point, with everything that's been done to the pool, with the walls and the floor, how far are we away from just taking it all out and completely putting a new shell in?
That's really what you're getting.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what you're getting right
The only thing that's really staying, really, right, is the existing,
Floor.
the deep end section,
Yeah.
where the
Which
slide
was
is now.
redone.
But that's what was originally the idea. You were just gonna build a new pool inside of the old pool. So, I mean, there's really no difference, other than we were just trying to save the old pool to tie into. A new pool was always gonna be constructed inside of it.
All right, so
So-
we're getting a completely new pool now, completely new shell,
Yeah.
essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially.
I mean, the wall came down an extra, 2.5 feet roughly?
Yeah.
From where where those 2 layers of
Yes.
pipes were? I mean, they took down the wall. I mean, so the wall right now at the bottom floor, it only comes up maybe a foot and a half at the most. So,
I'm sorry, John.
go ahead, no, that's fine.
But the only difference, which is just a minor difference from what's been, presented is, because we're making a new wall and a new everything, there's gonna be some changes to the depths and the widths. So it's still gonna be regulation to swim lanes, but areas that were 5.7 inches may now be 5.2 inches. So those are really gonna be the only changes for the pool itself. So there's gonna be some minor changes in regards to the volume, but it's not gonna be significant. It's not gonna change the island that everybody saw. A lot of the things, the shade structures, all those things are already being ordered. So I mean, none of that's being cut out. The only issue really had was this large
The one slide.
And the committee really looked to see, is there any other alternative that maybe were not as,
Expensive.
not as expensive as this.
Expensive.
And all the alternatives were kind of insufficient to what was shown at all the presentations, I guess I should say. So I think everyone kind of said, you know what, this is, we were looking at, they have some type of, zip line that we were looking at. We looked at a number of alternatives to say, these things are less, would this make sense? And I don't think any of us really could come to an agreement. We finally came back to where we started.
I mean,
So what are we looking at as a final cost to have it done right and up and running? What's the projected,
Well,
with no cut corners? Is the parking lot gonna be done? Is the fence around the pool gonna be done?
The fence
Is
is
the
gonna be
pool
done.
house gonna be done? Is the recreation stand gonna be done? I mean, what's gonna be done out of this?
the registration stand's gonna be done, the walkway to it's gonna be done,
The fencing.
fencing is gonna be done.
The Maple
Not
Avenue side
around the
of
whole
fencing?
perimeter, no. It's gonna be done from the building, around the side on Katy, and then up the length of the parking lot is all gonna
Yeah.
be new fence. The other fence where we just put, the green slats in them, I mean, on Maple, that's all gonna stay.
That was
And then
brand
the
new.
back fence around the perimeter will be repaired as necessary.
Yeah, the fence on Maple was just replaced last year.
The pool house,
Oh, it looks like crap.
we're,
No offense.
we're still
Everybody
evaluating,
likes it.
we're still evaluating the pool house on how it's best to
Renovate.
renovate.
Yeah,
because
we're waiting for the design and bid to come back on that. But, and the parking lot's the last thing you do, so.
So all this money's gonna include all that?
This money's not gonna include.
No, we said at the presentations that the pool house and the parking lots aren't
Right.
included.
And I'm saying, if we're doing it, why aren't we just doing it?
Because we're waiting for the bids to come back to see what the numbers come in for the pool house, so that we know how much money we need to expend on that. The parking lots.
So this, now that you feel that all the hidden things have been uncovered, and this $300,000 additional bond is gonna complete the pool and the things that I just mentioned, with the exception of the pool house, is going to finish it, and it's gonna be done, and it's gonna be done right,
And the exception of the parking lot.
Right.
except for the parking lot.
Yeah,
The
pool,
parking
the
lot's
pool
the last
house
thing.
and the parking lot is not in this.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Hold on, Debbie, I'll get you next. Welcome.
Olivia Leach, I'm at 2300 Plainfield Avenue. So I have a question regarding the public service and the main line.
Did you get a notification?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I'd like to know, what time does construction start? You're not doing it during the daytime, you're gonna wait till the nighttime.
Yes.
So the families that have kids, how late is this running so our kids can go to sleep? If it's from 5 to 11, are there jackhammers running? Are there bright spotlights?
It is gonna be, overnight. I mean, it's scheduled to be until like 5 in the morning.
So there's no thought process on the consideration for the residents that actually live on the main street from whatever time they start till like 5 a.m. in the morning? Do you know what the noise level is gonna be?
I will have to take your information and call you. I mean, I have to get that exact information from public service.
Yeah, I think this was the problem when we had the construction off of Maple, right? Is that we had, or Lakeview.
And
Yeah,
it was Maple too.
Maple
The
as well.
intersection of Maples were at night too.
Right, we had all, the residents had the, and I know they tried to minimize as much as possible, but when they're trying to work, you're gonna have light spilling all into those areas and stuff like that. I don't know, Glenn, if there's a possibility that they can do some of the excavation during, the day between when school is, to drop off, and then do additional work at night, because I see your point. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna wanna have all of this jackhammering occurring at 2 in the morning.
I'm looking at Len and Gary. I mean, typically,
Even
this
less.
is,
It's probably not, because what they dig, in order for the traffic to get back on it, you'd have to cover it back up.
Yeah.
So if you dig it during the day,
Well, we can talk to them though and see if they'll be able to do some saw cutting or something like that during the day to take place of the jackhammer noise. If there's some way we can move that to not, excavate and open the whole road, but
Right,
it's
saw
a couple
cutting is-
lines,
Yeah.
so at night when they're working, they're just using the
Right,
back
there's gotta be
road
some
to reach
consideration for
I-
residents.
I-
Yeah,
I
I
would
hear you.
hope so. I mean,
Maybe
Yeah.
on the weekend or
like-
something.
You know, there
Yeah.
are parents, their kids, we
Right.
work in the morning, we have to wake up at 5 and 6 to actually get our kids up and out the door.
Yep.
So to not possibly be sleeping because of jackhammers, spotlights.
Where's 2300?
Oh, I'm right across the street from the middle school.
Hmm.
So I am like the official poster child.
You're
Yes.
you're the starting point.
Yes, yes. So I definitely want to know what's going on. How is this going to impact me? I don't sleep as it is, so this may not help.
What side of Geary are you on? Are you between Geary and,
So I guess
Are you-
Geary and Merchant.
all right, so you're between Geary and Merchants?
Yes.
It's actually not gonna go down as far as you, it's gonna start on where Geary is and actually go
Towards
north. Not to say that makes it any better.
No,
for
those
anybody else.
concerns are still
Still
legitimate.
pretty
But-
close.
Yeah.
I'm still close, but I'm
Yeah.
still
Pretty
being
close.
considerate of my fellow neighbor.
Right.
Because,
Correct.
you know, it's a high school, it's a middle school, it's an elementary school, and, you know, the kids, they have to sleep. We have to sleep. You don't want to sleep under those conditions.
No,
So,
I-
you know, I think that should be considered
Mhm.
before we just take on this 9 to 5 or 5 PM to 5 AM shift.
I think it's gonna be like 8 to 5, if I'm not mistaken.
8 PM to 5 AM.
Do you know how many nights it will be?
Well, one of the issues is this week, they have 3 days. Next week, they only have 2 because of Thanksgiving. And then the following week will be 5. So it's gonna appear to be 3 weeks, but it's really, would be the equivalent of 2.
Two.
One of the other things, and I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but one of the other things that came out of the meeting is, because we're starting to get near winter, they're not gonna be putting any plates in the road. So at the end of each night, they are gonna backfill what's been dug out, so that we don't have a situation where there's a snowstorm and a plow is hitting a plate across the road. So,
Well, if they're backfilling anyway, why can't they do that during the daytime?
The problem during the day is with traffic,
Problem
safety, I
is
believe
the traffic.
they'd have to shut down Plainfield Avenue from Geary down to the Plainfield border, and that would just.
And they're not gonna have to shut it down at night?
Well, you're saying they're not
Well,
gonna
they'd
shut it down at night.
But with school, the buses trying to get to school, they wouldn't be able to go down Plainfield Avenue at all, so that would be very, you know, parents would be able to pick up their kids and stuff
Oh,
like that, yeah.
I don't wanna inconvenience the parents at all,
No,
which
I
is
know,
why I'm
it's
asking
kinda-
these
it's kinda
questions,
like a
yeah.
balance.
It's a
Balancing.
double-edged sword, really,
It
is what
is.
it comes down to. It's an inconvenience for everyone during the day with getting the kids to school on time, and then obviously an inconvenience for the residents that live that area that are obviously trying to sleep at night. So it's, you know, Glenn will have to, you know, talk to them and see if we can maybe
Yeah.
get some work done during the day.
If anything could be done to like mitigate the noise and the impact to the residents that are directly impacted, like across the street from the schools and from where this construction is being done, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'm not sure which side of the road the main is.
Okay.
I mean, there's houses on both sides. I mean,
Right.
it's-
Mhm.
Do you know when the notices are going out?
The notices should go out tomorrow.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Boyle?
Debbie Boyle, Van Fleet. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. December 7th is also our Mayor's Wellness Blood Drive at the Senior Center from
Why not?
9 a.m. to 2 p.m. while the mayor is having his breakfast. You can also stick your arm out and donate blood. It's in conjunction with the Red Cross. So please, if you can come out and give blood. Also on December 13th, well, starting now to December 13th is the Athletic Booster Club and the Athletic Department's annual toy drive. And then we bring all those toys over, I believe we're doing on the 14th, to
Believe so.
social services. Also, December 19th is the South Plainfield Business Association annual holiday breakfast and swearing in of our officers. So everybody's welcome to attend. Trying to think of the other things. Also, congratulations to Georgianne Cochran. She is an amazing woman who has given over 35 years of volunteerism to South Plainfield. Thank you to my guest speakers, Sandy Doyen, Pat DeSantis, Shannon Jeffries. but more amazing are the students that came out to support Georgianne. Harrison and Joseph and Ash, Xavier Brown and his sister, Harley and Mackenzie Larson, and Emma Morin. I think that it's amazing that they came out to support somebody that's been a volunteer here for over 35 years and realizing what it means to be a volunteer. Unfortunately, there was an incident, but it was a great night for Georgianne, and she was totally overwhelmed. We
Yeah,
wound up with
definitely.
I believe 125 people, and it was a great night. So thank you, Mayor Nash. Thank you, Councilman White. Thank you, Councilwoman Faustini, for coming out and also honoring her. And, of course, our CFO, Glenn Cullen.
Well, I was going to also mention, if I'm not mistaken, at the last minute, the senior center was able to get volunteers actually to serve the food.
Yeah.
So the food that was served, that actually wasn't,
It was not Ferraro's.
No.
It was volunteers. I believe high school students came.
yeah, those were
Yep.
actually,
Yeah.
Southwood High School students that actually volunteered last minute.
Yes, and that was great that they were able to come out and do that. There were enough of them that they had somebody at each station, so that was really good.
Yeah, I think the mayor had triple.
That's not true at all. That's fake news.
And dessert.
I didn't even have dessert.
No, I know, it was like the emotions kept going. But again, thank you, Glenn. All right.
And
Progress.
congratulations to you and Mr. Cassio and Mr. Sesselberg, right? For
Yes.
Board of Education
Thank
results
you.
as well. So
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Before we, yes, sir.
Leon Gwizdowski from 2309 Celine.
Yes.
I'm the resident with the tree problem with my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
All right, I've been after her for quite a few years to take this tree down because it's been dying. It is now dead.
Mhm.
I've gotten no answer from her. Talked to her boyfriend. He understands me more, but still didn't get an answer. About a month ago, I came home, found a branch through the shed of my roof from this tree.
Wow.
And I removed it, I repaired the shed, they paid me for my material. Again, I approached them, they say they have no money. She also told me she lost her job, which she was lying to me.
Hmm.
Now, the boyfriend, last weekend came over to my house, said, when can I start repairing the shed? I said, I already took care of it. He said he has to get the tree down because he's gonna be buying a service dog, which is not true.
Okay.
This past weekend, he told me he was gonna get the tree down with a man lift and some people from work, which never happened. I could go home right now and not find my shed or part of my house up.
Right.
I didn't hear what all you
Well,
said.
Paul, you looked in it, you're saying, so I guess it's Mr. Abrazese's point of view that there's nothing in the current code, which is kind of hard to
That
believe.
he did tell me. I
Yeah.
approached him twice on this.
That would give us the ability to force them to take that down, so,
And it's not in the right of way. So this is
and it's
something-
not in the right of way. So,
This is-
not to get into too much of a discussion, but what is the difference? The environmental has an objection to this, under what grounds?
Well, Dr. Temple forwarded, first of all, sir, you said you didn't hear everything. What I said was, getting the information that we didn't have anything on the books, so to speak.
Okay.
I prepared something. I then distributed to the property maintenance officer, our environmental officer, and she shared it with the environmental commission to get some feedback on to what their opinions of it were. John's a little hesitant in how do you determine what's a dangerous tree, I don't want to go on private property. There was comments were forwarded by Dr. Temple from one particular environmental commissioner who was pretty much, I don't think we should get involved, I think it's a private matter. There's a host of back and forth, different points.
Yeah.
So if it's a private matter, is there anything that, the resident here can do to kind of force that? I mean,
They claim they have no money, yet my property can be damaged, I could be injured.
yeah, I mean, I think you,
how far does this have to go
Yeah. No, I
Before-
I hear you. I think you've
I
got to,
approached my insurance company. They can't do anything for me.
yeah,
A couple years ago, I had my friend come down with the neighbor's permission. He took off all the branches on my side, of, so I wouldn't get that much damage.
right.
That cost me $1,000. Now, he said he could take the whole tree down, leave the stump for $3,500, but they don't have money.
Right.
Now, I gotta go through an inconvenience of damage to my property or end up in a hospital. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, and that's what I guess we're trying to figure out, right?
Yeah,
So,
For example, the commission's comments were, well, you know, legally, if there's a branch over into your space, you can
Cut it.
cut it.
Which he did.
But that doesn't solve his
Right.
problem.
No, no,
This,
Okay?
this tree was
I mean, I
there.
didn't, I
bef-
didn't agree with much of the comments
Yeah.
that I got from them.
I know,
Right.
I agree.
It didn't solve the problems that he's facing.
Wholeheartedly.
I don't know if I hired a lawyer, if a judge could tell them to take it down.
well, that's what I'm wondering. Is there anything that he can do?
I don't know where to go.
I'll be honest with you, I don't, this situation, I'm not certain that he could get some, it's a civil suit.
And the longer this tree stays up, the more rotten it's gonna get, and it's gonna be,
But there are towns that have some type of ordinance that
Yeah,
would
what-
solve this
Yeah,
problem.
so what
and
does the
that's
ord- so-
my frustration is I took, what I put together from provisions of other towns.
Right.
And for some that have these and
Right.
deal with them.
Right.
And the pushback I got from everybody kinda frustrated me, to be honest with you.
I understand.
And what do those provisions say? Because like Mr. Miller is saying, that's a tree, it's on somebody's personal property. Does the borough have any
Jurisdiction
ability to
authority.
govern what somebody does with that tree?
These provisions, I mean, I don't know if they've ever been challenged.
Right.
I don't even know if they've been utilized because of other towns. But yeah, they provide that if you if a determination is made, that, for example, there is a tree that presents a danger. Well, John's point, and I think it's a fair point, is I can't make that determination. What are we gonna do? Bring in a tree expert
Well,
to make that determination?
only that there's already been damage to this resident's house from that particular tree or shed, right? So I mean, you've got,
But that's why this needs to be, I think.
Well, it sounds like what we should do is have that committee meet as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
yeah,
and-
because it has to be soon.
Right,
Because
will,
the
it
longer
will.
it stays up, nobody knows
right, with the winter.
when
and the
it's gonna
winter.
happen, but it will.
right.
And unfortunately, it's gonna be me.
No, I hear you. So we'll have to have the committee meet because how many meetings do we have? We have 2 meetings left in the year? So we only have 2, you need 2.
The agenda's gonna be done by next Wednesday. For the week after.
Pencil something in. So we're gonna need to, we have 1 shot this year, you know, we have 2 meetings left to pass an ordinance, or else we're looking into or end of January before we're gonna be able to deal with this.
All right, when you have a lot of trees down, you have private companies come in and give the town a hand removing trees.
If we need to, yes.
If we
Correct.
need to. In this case, if I'm not mistaken, this is really
This is-
kinda in the backyard, requires
Yes.
a crane. We don't have a crane, we don't, it needs it, so there's, yeah. So there are there's some issues here. This isn't, like I said, when I meant to say this isn't in the right of way, I mean, this is
Right.
in somebody's
It's on
actually
private
backyard.
property.
Correct.
So you're talking about us renting a crane and going over their house and, you know.
What I was getting
Well,
at,
the other
if,
issue is too, is how much, I mean, you really can't go on somebody's property.
And take down their tree.
I mean, to spend, the town's money to maintain somebody's property. I mean, where does
Yeah.
that end?
Well,
The
you
next
open-
neighbor complains about a tree
Right,
too? I
right.
mean, this is,
Well, I think that the ordinance in place would force the property owner, I would think, to do it, not the town
Right.
to step in and do it.
That's the
Yeah.
design of it, but
Yeah.
again, there's a situation where you cite them.
If they don't have the money,
They don't have the
all you're gonna do is
what
fine
I
them.
was trying to get at was, okay, if I don't cut my lawn, John comes down, gives me a warning. If I still don't cut it, town comes down, cuts it, I get billed for it.
Correct.
No,
Well,
no, you don't get, that doesn't happen right away. They send you a notice,
Yeah.
and they send you a fine, and then if it's a vacant property, or if you come to court and it can't get resolved, then the town will go into it, but it's not like you get a violation or even a
Well, what I was
notice.
trying to get at, if you had a private contractor come down and cut the tree down, all right, can you put any kind of payment on top of their taxes?
Probably put a lien on the
to-
property.
To get your money back?
Well, well, here's the thing, and no pun intended, but grass is a clear-cut issue, right? I
Yes.
mean, you can see that the grass is longer than it's supposed to be. It's pretty obvious, right?
But can't something be made up to make them take
Well,
it
I think
down?
that's what, I think that's what
And
we're
if
looking
they can't
at.
afford the 3,500, okay, $25 a month or until it's paid off?
But that would be between them and whoever cuts down the tree. So what my suggestion will be, sir, is that the Economic Development Committee, and Paul, if you can join us for that meeting, we can look at the logistics of it and the legal ease of it and see what potentially the borough can do without putting us at liability or in
And
jeopardy.
it'd be nice to see what towns do if somebody
Yes.
either A, refuses to cut a tree down, or if they've ever had a situation like that, or B, can't afford to do it. What are our options?
Or maybe they never even used it.
And this is one of the other things, some of our environmental people, we're willing to go over there, make an opinion, and then after they make an opinion, then say, well, we're really not a professional arborist.
Right, so,
to make
I
an
mean-
opinion.
Correct. So,
you
no
know, it
disrespect,
really-
but I don't think that's the right,
Yeah, it really helps.
Because the only way to really
honest.
take this down is with a crane, but the longer you wait, you suspend a branch up there, it may not hold up.
yeah.
It
This,
just snap in half.
Well, I mean, regardless, it's still an ordinance which takes 2 readings.
Right.
So the soonest it would be in effect would be the end of the year, and then it would go into effect, but, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't,
I could go home right now and not have a shed.
no, we
I
fully
understand that, but
appreciate
legally,
that.
Yeah.
we can't enact an ordinance without 2 readings. So that's our legal obligation.
Is there a way of putting a rush on this?
No.
Because
that
of
is a-
safety?
That is a
As
rush.
soon
We
as
have
we
to,
can.
we have to have it read at 2 meetings.
Yeah.
So we'll put a
Yeah.
rush on the meeting portion of it to see what we can come up with based on, input from our attorney, see what we can come up with and craft potentially, and then we'll have to vote on it twice though in December. So that's the point where we're bound legally to have those 2 votes.
So by the end of the year, I'll get it.
Potentially. What's that?
That would just
Potentially,
get
I
things
mean-
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're going through winter, and if we have a bad winter with wet snow,
Well,
I give you dozens of things that could happen with
Sure.
this tree.
Sure.
I mean, I know you don't wanna hear them all.
No,
No,
I get it.
I mean, one of the things that we also have to understand is too, that we would then, if we do enact an ordinance, let's say, and we have some kind of enforcement, we then have to hire an arborist to go out there. We have to then notify the property owner that this tree's in danger. They have so much time to take it down. That's under my belief. And then if they fail to do it, then we go the next step of trying to find them. Then if they fail to do it again, then he could probably go and take it down. So it's not like the ordinance passes and we can go send a truck over to take it. That can't happen. You have to give the due notices. But one of the things that I would recommend immediately is that you contact an attorney and try to do something civil with them. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they already told me 2 lies.
Yeah.
I mean, she said she lost her job, he wants to buy a service dog, so the tree has to come down, which they're just wasting my time.
It's more expense for you, but if you hire an attorney and they get a letter from an attorney, it's probably a little bit different, right? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know.
I don't even know who to see.
I couldn't give you.
I don't know if it's a civil matter
I don't,
or.
it would be, well,
Civil-
potentially it's a civil
definitely
matter,
civil
correct.
matter.
I mean, I don't know who you would look up for. I don't think there's attorneys that specialize in
Last time I
trees.
came to, I talked
Maybe
to a
there
lot
are.
of people in the town, and
Yeah.
no one's giving me a direction to go.
Well,
it's
we're,
not-
we're trying on that direction and,
Yeah.
but like I said, that's gonna take some time. So an alternative, if you're looking for something faster, is potentially looking at an attorney and maybe having an attorney advise you. Did I hit the button? Have an attorney, advise you as to what, potential steps might be. Again, that's gonna cost you additional money. I'm not, but it may be the most, the fastest method of getting some action on
Yeah,
it. Who
but
knows?
even an insurance company, okay, it would cost $3,500 to take a tree down, or let's say $50,000 to repair my house. Which would be better?
No, that's why I'm saying you may want to have an attorney reach out on your behalf to the neighbor, and if there's something that, I don't know, you'd have to be advised by an attorney. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
options are here, and I'm saying that's something that you might want to look into while we're also looking into,
Yeah.
this potential ordinance, which
Right,
granted
I know
is
this
gonna
is
take
an
some.
unusual situation, It probably never came up in town.
Not really, no.
What did you do in the past?
I
we-
can't recall of an incident,
Yeah,
you know,
I
in the
don't
last
know either.
9 years where somebody's tree was in that bad shape and was falling down on the neighbor.
I think we've had an incident or two, I'm just,
On the street
Right,
or
in the
right away,
easement,
that's
right.
yeah, if it's a town tree, that's a different story.
that's-
Sometimes we
you-
still argue with,
This is 100 feet from the street.
right, so this is a, you know.
So it's
this-
private property, and that's
Yeah.
the difficulty, that's the
Correct.
complexity of it. So what we'll do is the committee will get together with our borough attorney and see if there's something we can do as a governing body in a municipality to bring a resolution within the confines of the law. We don't know what's available to us within the confines of the law to do something, but we definitely
You have
will
my information.
we'll have the-
As we meet and progress, I can fill you in as well. But again, you may want to just reach out to an attorney and at least see if there's some, they may be able to find some kind of past case that might be able to get you something. You know, at least you can go down 2 different paths.
Yeah,
At
but,
the same
you know,
time.
the longer we all wait.
I understand 100% what you're saying. That's why I'm saying you
it's
may
not-
want to.
It's not the expense, it's the inconvenience.
Right, well, that's why I'm
That's
saying,
done.
right, and that's why I'm saying you may want to look at a civil matter as well. We'll take it from the borough standpoint, but, you know, as we mentioned, it's going to take some time to meet, agree on that ordinance, and get that passed by the end of the year. You're still looking at 6 weeks plus, you know, as the councilman said before, and then before you get anything going on actually fining the resident. And then, you know, what's going to happen after that, so.
Is there any way that I could find out her insurance company's name so I can talk to them?
I don't, yeah, I don't know if that's public record, right?
As far as
think
I
it
know,
is.
it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Because if they were aware of it, I put this to my insurance company, and they said either you take the tree down or we drop you.
Well, again, that's why we're hiring
But then
a,
again, if I went with Joe's insurance company and they didn't do a research on why I dropped somebody, they would just insure me, and I'd
Right.
be back in the same situation.
well, again, that's why hiring a you know, a personal attorney may give you some other avenues as well.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunately, that's the civil portion of it,
Yeah.
you know?
Neighbor versus neighbor disputes are never good.
Yeah, I know. This
And I'm
is
sorry
like
it's happening to you.
safety and neighbor.
Yeah, they still don't resolve any quicker,
And
as you're learning.
Definitely need a crane to take it down. There's no way it could be done for less money in any way.
If you see the pictures,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah.
That's why I gave all that to you. I mean, this tree's a good 75, 80 feet
Yeah.
tall.
It's borough.
And if it came down, it'd probably land on Celine.
Right.
It's been there before the neighborhood was
Right,
built.
right.
The base of the tree's about 3.5, 4 feet in diameter.
Can Mr. Rizzo keep that
Yes.
paperwork? Okay, thank you.
So,
Just-
all right, keep in touch.
Just
with
contact
what-
me and we'll figure it out.
He has all my contacts.
Perfect,
All right,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Anyone else? All right, we're gonna close the public portion.
Firemen tell us to
You know,
leave.
there's an awful lot of firefighters around here.
Very quick executive.
Yes, we're gonna have a quick executive session.